fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got really both of them. Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up front.
Oh my God! Oh. Big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled.
It's very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
Are you new to sim racing, or maybe a veteran struggling to reach the next level? Have you ever wondered how the aliens reach impressive lap times that seem impossible to achieve? If so, you're not alone. Most drivers reach a certain level and get stuck. But getting faster on track is easier than you think. VRS coaches are some of the best sim racers in the world and offer one-on-one driver skills training at affordable rates to help new drivers learn the basics and help experienced drivers break through to the next level. Are you ready to get faster and get off the iRacing roller coaster? If so, VRS one-on-one personal training is for you. If you've invested in your equipment, it might be time to invest in yourself. Just go to virtualracingschool.com and sign up for a 30, 60 or 90-minute session with one of our world-class coaches, and you'll learn exactly what to do for faster lap times and more podiums.
Hey everyone, the USF 2000 is a blast to drive now, and here's your chance to learn it quickly. From my tutorial, VRS created a free bonus track guide for the Laguna Seca circuit, where you can learn exactly what I do in every corner to improve your lap times and get faster on track. You'll learn how to easily recognize brake markers, you'll find out which curves to attack and which ones to avoid, you'll know when to use the full track and when a sequence of corners requires a compromise, and you'll learn how hard to brake and when to lift. The VRS quick reference track maps are available free to download and delivered each week to your inbox. The entire global MX-5 series is available, as well as bonus maps like this one and many more. So if you're a new racer, or a veteran, or just anyone who wants to learn how to get faster sooner, the VRS track guides are for you. Just hit the link or button on screen and get yours today.
Let's talk the genesis of iRacing when it became a serious place to go and race. This was one of the first circuits that you put on the calendar and said, you know what? This is why iRacing means business. This is the historic layout of Silverstone, all the way back from 2009. And this challenge that was put forward and challenged again and again proved time and again that this was a place where great racing could, should, and will always happen. I'm Jake Sperry. Joining alongside me today, Cam Dance. On production for us today is Scott Fountain. This is your Simworx Roadster Rumble, and it heads to historic Silverstone for two more great races here tonight with everything and a bit more to showcase. Here's what the track looks like. Of course, we're in Towcester, Northamptonshire, in the United Kingdom. We take that old start through Cops Corner, Maggots, Beckett's Chapel, the hanger straight to Stowe. It's a much quicker historic layout, so we don't necessarily take the Abbey Chicane. We don't necessarily take Club Corner as aggressively. But then we got the Abbey Chicane, and then that run, of course, through Bridge to Priory and over into Brooklands. Cam, this is what we like to call old school, classic, and one of the tracks which, by this design, created many memories.
Yeah, absolutely. This track is full of history and full of amazing memories and moments from everybody's not only real life racing scenarios, but also sim racing as well. It's produced all sorts of different things that we've seen over time, and just one of those really classic circuits that when you see it and end up coming here, you know it's going to be a really, really good day.
You absolutely do. And we are all well aware of that as well. Qualifying has just about got started. They have 10 minutes and 2 laps to put themselves up on the board for that. But before we take ourselves over towards our qualifying effort, we do need to have an eye out on the championship and see how drivers here and there have got themselves to this point. And this is one of the things I absolutely love about this, the home of British motor racing. It says Sonny Kanchin in control, and in control fantastically at this point in time. 42 points clear of the duo of Moz Moroz and Tom Huggan. this has been all about consistency to start this season. Sonny Kanchan's got two things going for him. He's consistent and he's quick, and that is a very lethal combo.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We've seen over the past 2 rounds so far that he's been certainly the man to beat and certainly one of the championship contenders. And then you obviously got Moroz, Huggen, Oliver, and even Wood in there. And it's very, very close. And we saw last round that the entire championship order got shaken up massively with the fact we were at Watkins Glen, and all the sort of carnage and drama that unfolded there has really spiced things up. So Silverstone's going to be really, really interesting to see what's going to happen and who may or may not shake this championship up a little bit more.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be very interesting to see the likes of Glenwood and Lee Harrison making their charges around as we get ourselves situated. Let's also take a little look at the amateur category championship and see how drivers have been sorting themselves out. This is a live look then as we fly across the skies around this older Silverstone layout and making sure that all of the understanding is there. And you can see there through the middle of the circuit, the Stowe circuit, which is not runnable on iRacing, but for those who watched Top Gear, Richard Hammond in a Renault Formula One car from 2005 really did showcase how you can really go out there and attack this place. AM category standings look a little bit more different. It's Lucas Micallef who's got control of that one, Cam, and does so over Mark Foster and Neil McKenzie. It's a lot more spread out, this championship, than the others. And you look at the likes of Foster, McKenzie, Brenton Bull, for example, Philip Paradiso. They are the sort of drivers who need to start putting rounds together. Yes, we're only 2 rounds in, but this isn't the longest championship in the world. You've got to try and get more and more in the line.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You can't be sort of stuffing around in rounds 1 or 2 or any round for that matter, as every race counts at the end of the day. So you've got to make sure that you're on your game from the word go, really, and make sure that you're scoring consistent points all series long. So one DNF's going to really hurt you in the championship, and we've seen that already with a few drivers who've ended up coming to blows with possible drama or stuff like that. So it's been really, really interesting to see how this championship has formed up so far, and it really is showing that consistency is the thing that you're going to need to win this.
Triple Eight car moving its way through Abbey. No chicane on this layout, and all the way to Bridge opens up a lot of overtaking opportunities. The Wolfchester car of Glenn Wood making his way now to Priory Corner. This very tough off-camber left-hander. So easy to just skitter yourself into the gravel. Brooklands immediately following, down to just 77 kilometers an hour before that quick flick into Luffield. Lee Harrison sets the initial pace then on a 2:01 flat. Marty Turner goes 0.02 of a second quicker, but it's going to be about Glenwood that we focus on at this point in time. Lee Harrison, we just see there is second at the moment. We go on board with him. We're watching Glenwood, and he just went second fastest because the newcomer to the series here, Cam, has just put it on pole, and it's no stranger to us here at SimSpeed TV. It's Brad Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely no surprise. The man who is currently on provisional pole position is Brad Ryan, a very, very quick peddler in pretty much anything, more notably known for his skirmishes in the V8, but has decided to come play here tonight in the MX-5. So looking like he's going to be a very, very good contender for the racing results tonight, and might even show Sonny Kanchan how to do things. But we'll wait and see what's going to happen and who may be able to knock off Brad Ryan.
Who may indeed, and that's going to be the crucial factor. Who can knock off in terms of that challenge? There's Marty Turner in the Chicken Up racing car, driving incredibly well towards this stage. Now, I am noting that Sonny Kanchan was unable to get a lap in on his first lap, so he'll only have this lap to try and get the fastest time possible. 2 races, of course, here tonight, both of which are going to be 30 minutes long, and Cam, what will be crucial for that second race here over the course of what we've got coming forward is that you have to take a pit stop with 2 tyres to be taken. Here is Kanchan entering what I like to call the arena section then, here on this lap.
Yeah, entering, coming up towards Priory and Luffield section now is Sonny Kanchan, really hard on the downshifts, trying to extract the maximum amount of pace that he possibly can out of this little Mazda MX-5, right up on the inside, flowing it right out to the outside edge as well. Nearly 2 wheels on the grass over the AstroTurf. It's going to come through the final corner, and this is going to be a lap that's going to end up putting him into P3 only in the end.
Yeah, good time there for Sonny Kanchin, but not enough to go on top. They're third only with that. Give a shout out as well to Tiny Venables in fifth place now, because Moz Moroz, we just saw go over the line, he's fourth fastest on the 2-minute .899. So their second lap is really finding drivers with what they want and then some here in terms of their challenges. And it's not surprising. Track temp's 33 degrees. We're at 10 past 3 in the afternoon. You know, that second lap, it is going to take a little bit to get everyone up to speed. But once they are there, those tyres, they're going to sit in, they're going to wait. And it does just take that one lap to get themselves up to temperature. There is track temperatures, 92 degrees Fahrenheit, 71 degrees Fahrenheit temperature, wind speeds at 20 miles an hour. It is a bit blustery, and it's worth talking about it being a bit blustery today. 32 Ks, you could say in translation, Cam, because we are on an airfield. It does whistle around this place.
Yeah, it certainly does, and that's going to make quite some difference, especially with the fact it's a little bit of a strong wind today. So depending on what way it's facing, it might either create some very, very good drafts for those behind, or it might just provide a little bit of a challenge through some of these corners with it being a bit of a crosswind. So these drivers are certainly going to have to keep their heads in play and make sure they're aware of what the wind is doing, especially with it being that strong as well. It's very, very blustery, like you said. But Aaron Russell coming through the final corner now, all the way out to the edge of the curb. Not quite as wide as Sonny Kanchin, but nice wide line regardless. Currently sitting 15th. What can he do when he comes across the line? And it's going to be an improvement to move himself up to inside the top 10.
Yeah, 201.1 moves just behind Lee Harrison in the number 26. So that is exactly 10th position on the grid. A minute 42 remains. Not a million drivers in the world out there with a lap. Joel Proctor on one at the moment. He just crosses the line with a 201.223. What a time by Joel Proctor, the amateur, moving up to 11th fastest in the 101 machine. That it was a really important lap to put down, and is leading amateur as things go. Brandon McMillan is out there. So too is Matthew McMillan. The two McMillans out there giving themselves a start to the season. Matthew making his way with the final minute. This will be his last lap, because once the timer expires, you will be unable to get another one in. There is the 20 car making a charge and looking to try and go forwards there. That is Brandon McMillan. The other McMillan, Matthew, who has got AM category status, does not set a time. But can Brandon McMillan, 2:06.8 is the slowest right now, with a 2:04 flat by Wade McCulloch, for example, in the 53. So for Brandon McMillan, a 2:02 high might be pretty solid here if he can get that over the line. McMillan crosses as a 2:02.4. That's a lot better than a 2:02 high. That's a 2:02 mid, and goes just behind there, Cam, with 25 seconds to go. Bard Rodkin.
Yeah, nice lap time there from McMillan. Van Egmond as well, going to P24 in the order, so he'll be pretty happy to put himself in a reasonably good position. Probably a few drivers who are possibly wishing they went a little bit quicker, but it is very, very close throughout the order in this field so far. Yeah,
it is, and the timer just about to expire. So let's take ourselves to the starting grid then, here from Silverstone, and it is a brand new driver up on the front. Brad Ryan, 2 minutes, .751. We'll have Marty Turner alongside in the Chicken Up Racing car on the front row. It will then be the championship leader, Sonny Kanchin, starting from third, and his nearest challenger, Moz Moroz, goes from fourth position. Tiny Venables, making his first start, goes from fifth, with Aaron Oliver in sixth. Glenn Wood and Ashley Norman are seventh and eighth. Ninth goes to Lee Harrison. Maybe a little disappointing for him, but Aaron Russell rounds out the top 10.
Then you've got your first AM currently sitting on row 6 with Adam Sharp for 11th and 12th. Go over the page. It's going to end up being Luke Stasi and Todd George on row 7. Row 8 is going to consist of Wayne Losh and Tom Hagen. Brenton Bull and Luke Claver going to be on row 9 with Brody Cook and Simon Smith rounding out the top 20.
Absolutely, and as we scroll very quickly further down the order, you can see likes of Mark Johnson, Anthony Connors there, Jamie Willits is down there, Bard Rodkin as well, the likes of Brandon McMillan, the rookie, Lockie Haverkamp will be down there, as well as Greg Holmes, the chief steward in the number 13. Goes all the way down. 50 drivers here today, all looking to put their challenges in. The likes of Carl Goodger, Richie Domingo, Jesse White Carrig, we saw there do quite well. You got Dave Gogol, Matthew McMillan down there not setting a time. And finally, Ben Ferguson and Caleb Patterson not getting what they necessarily wanted. But there's the green flag. And we're underway here from this fantastic track of Silverstone. It's a good start there by Brad Ryan. Immediately covers it off. The first 5 cars get themselves into single file. Little look then of attack from Tiny Venables as he looks to try and get aggressive through against Aaron Oliver, who got a better start than him. They're going to be 3 wide on the exit here as Glenn Wood now will make that charge towards Maggots and Beckett's for the first time as they go through. They've got to be alert here with the way they're positioning their cars. And immediately a little tap to the back on Venables. Welcome to the Roadster Rumble. And Glenwood then just getting a little bit friendly off the start, but nice and clean through the first 10 rows.
Yeah, so far so good from everybody in the field. No real dramas at all other than that small minor bit of contact between Venables and Woods. But at the front, it's closing up very, very quickly. Kanchan trying to possibly look at a move on the way down towards the end of the back straight on Marty Turner. Decides to think better of it, just sits in behind, and everybody else single file as well. No move from Tane Venables either.
Yeah, no move there. So patience personified, a lot different to how it was last season where we had 2 lap 1 incidents to go and play with all the way back there. That's Steve McMahon trying to fight side by side as they go into that section. Damien Seeger almost getting well out of shape, had to try and dive through. So did Simon Joel Smith, managed to find the attack that's needed. But the run up towards Bridge is going to be a key one here today. How do you manage it? They've got 30 minutes in this first race. They don't have to make a pit stop if they don't need to, I do believe. But as they charge through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all on the line. This is draft racing at its finest. Ashley Norman, the first split, and it's only a half a second or so. And he's really looking defensive here because here comes Aaron Russell with a search. He's not going to get there. But every driver right now, Cam, is thinking about how do I move up the train?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. How do you move up the train without losing yourself too much time? Lee Harrison getting checked up a little bit further up, but you can see this massive pack further down the order. It's just absolutely scrambling for the minor positions, and one small mistake just sends you back so many positions. As you can see at the front, it's just nose to tail with everybody within milliseconds of each other.
Yeah, and that is the key. Brad Ryan leads, Marty Turner then in second. It is Sonny Kanchan, the championship leader, in third place. The look then, as you can see, someone going incredibly wide through turn number 1. That is Luke Claver there as Brody Cook goes through. But there is the charge through Maggots into Beckett's. They'll be coming along. Beckett's, by the way, is not this corner, but it's the right-hander. The third right is Beckett's. There you can see go through, and the left is Chapel, which leads onto the Hangar Straight. Everyone seems to get that wrong. They always think that it's Maggots, Beckett's, and then into Chapel. It's not quite necessarily the way it goes. But on the Hangar Straight, here come the first little looks then, and to the inside going, tries Aaron Oliver on Moz Moroz into Stowe. One of the prime places to get it done, and comfortably got it done there, Cam, before there was even a look as they go through. Almost contact there between what was Moroz and Venables.
Yeah, Venables trying to possibly set up a move around the outside, but didn't quite end up having the momentum that they needed, so going to end up having to slot in behind. Now Glenn Wood possibly going to look at a move here on Venables, but just going to sit in behind for the time being, bringing along Lee Harrison with him and Norman not too far in the background of that little pack as well. So it's just going to take one small check up, and the rest are going to end up on the tail of this top 10 battle.
Oh, they absolutely are. And look at them. They're trying to light it up. Almost 3 wide. There's the contact. And it's Harrison, and now Wood goes around as well. And there's a huge junk up on the inside of Priory. About a half dozen cars are caught up in it. Lee Harrison was one of them, Ashley Norman another, and Glenn Wood, and the rejoin's not brilliant as well from Glenn Wood, and that's a huge issue as well, and this is going to take a lot of dissecting from the stewards after the racing's done.
Yeah, not the cleanest rejoin there from Glenn Wood, but really, really unfortunate incident there from pretty much the entire lot of the top 8 or so, and we'll get a replay to see what's actually going on here, because someone's gone for a move. You can see Tane Venables up the inside, just contact actually between Harrison and Moz Moroz, unfortunately sent the car of Lee Harrison around and into Venables, and then everybody else has sort of tried to work out where to go next.
Well, the issue here there with Venables is that he didn't want to relinquish the place from behind, and he had nowhere to go but up the inside of the car in front. They were all peeking and peeking. As we are back live here, ladies and gentlemen, 3 have got away. Brad Ryan, Marty Turner, and Sonny Kanchin. Behind that, Joel Proctor, the AM, is in 4th place right now, with Lucas Stasi just behind in 5th, and a slowdown penalty for Aaron Russell is going to drop him way back down the train. So we're seeing some amazing scraps. Adam Sharp now having to defend as Wayne Losh. Loshy trying to go for the inside, and Wayne Losh is going to get there. Now Russell falls back to Lucas Claver. So we are starting, Luke Claver. So we are seeing how these drivers are really starting to work out what they can get. But the key there, in terms of that incident we saw a lap ago, Cam, was that everyone was jostling for position, and nobody could really give it up.
Yeah, it didn't really appear anybody wanted to give anything up, and unfortunately it all turned into a bit of scrambled egg, unfortunately, with the way that things panned out, with drivers possibly trying moves and others also trying moves without the other person behind knowing, unfortunately. So it's not gone too well for a number of drivers, including Aaron Russell, who's dropped massively further down, with the fact he's also had a slowdown on this lap too. So he's going to end up well and truly outside the top 10 at this stage. And you see the front has quickly become a 3-car scrap, with 4th place likes of Joel Proctor and then also Lucas Stasi around the top 5, well behind now.
The big battling's going on though for 6th position right now. There you can see the top 3 up on screen right now, the 96, but it's back here with Losh, Sharp, George, Cook, Huggan, Claver, Bull. They're all there, and again another slowdown penalty it seems for one Mr. Aaron Russell. He's dropping back. Lee Harrison making good progress. Someone's off at turn 1. That's Luke Claver pushing the boundaries a little bit wider again. They've got 20 instant points to play with in half an hour, so they can't afford to be too liberal with the way that they use them. But look at this. They sweep through Maggots in through the left, which leads, of course, to Beckett. A much better line from Wayne Losh is going to relinquish the pressure, which now falls onto Sharp shoulders as Todd George and Brody Cook. This is where you really start to get the run going.
Yeah, this is absolutely where you start to get the run going, and everybody behind is closing in rapidly. And if you're that car at the front in the form of Wayne Losh, you're panicking a little bit because you don't know who's going to send it and who doesn't. Is up the inside goes Adam Sharp to get that move and position off Wayne Losh, and now Losh might come under attack here from Todd George, who's possibly going to look to make a move around at the outside on the way into the back end of the circuit. Contact between the two of them. George runs wide, manages to gather it back up, and is going to slot in just in front of Brody Cook. That's checked up the rest of the pack, and you can see everybody going 2 by 2.
Todd George, Georgie Porgy, Pudding and Pie very nearly found himself somewhere he didn't want to be at all, and they got contact behind as well as Tom Huggan and Luke Claver go wing mirror to wing mirror through Abbey and into Bridge, and this is a real challenge. Wide goes Tom Huggan. He's going to lose a lot of places. Priory seems to be the big place today, where if you want to get a move and you want to be adventurous or daring today, aren't we? Try and get it done. Almost 3 wide in the back as Simon Joel Smith on the outside of Steve McMahon, nearly both trying to get around Lucas Michalef there in the middle. This is what MX5 racing is all about. A very strong mid-pack trying to fight incredibly hard for it. We take a look on board then as they charge onto the front stretch past the start-finish line through Woodcut and over towards Cops Corner, turn number 1 on this old traditional circuit. Every place matters, and as they know, they can't afford to battle too hard, otherwise they'll lose contact with the groups in front.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But at the same time, as a racing driver, you're going to be torn because you want that extra position, regardless of how hard you're going to have to fight it. So it's one of those dilemmas that you certainly have to try and manage and be smart about. And we see there in the background, Anthony Connors backing up on Mark Johnston, try and work together. But you can see this mid-pack is just full on. Everybody wants a piece of it, and everybody wants that one extra position if they can get it.
They certainly are. Sonny Kanchin is one who's definitely looking for it. He's all over Marty Turner once again, and he's got good reason to be at this point in time, Cam, because they're right on the cusp of losing Brad Ryan in the 96, who's almost a second clear.
Yeah, Ryan's done very, very well in the last few laps. He's been running actually slightly quicker times than what Marty Turner has, so he's been pulling away ever so slightly, whereas Sonny Canchin's been running sort of a little bit quicker. Obviously, he's had the draft, but he's been running similar times to Brad Ryan, so he knows he has the pace and is probably going to want to get a move on at some point. Otherwise, they're going to end up in a little bit of strife where he's not going to have the draft of Brad Ryan, and he's going to have to try his best and figure out how can I actually catch that lead car again.
It might just be you have to wait for race 2. So we've got a bit of side-by-side. We've got a lot of side-by-side, actually, at this point in time. Almost in the grass goes Glenn Wood as he tries to move up position. He'll get it done on Anthony Connors as everyone, again, swarms into Priory Corner. And the big one just in front of the group is Lee Harrison, Brenton Bull, Damien Seeger. They're almost 3 wide as they come out of Brooklands Corner into Luffield, the long 180-degree right-hander. Lee Harrison sorts out his battle there with Damien Seeger just ahead, and they've got to work on this lap to close the door back to Brodie Cook. Every position we talk about mattering, and with 19 minutes to go, we are halfway through this one soon, in about the next 5 minutes, so we're a third of the way through right now, and the battle's going to be here about those side-by-sides in towards turn number 1, and again, you can see that's Tom Huggan this time, taking a huge wide line. Steve McMahon side by side, trying to get through Lucas Micallef. And oh, a huge smash. He's going to go straight across the circuit, and that'll be a slowdown.
Yeah, that'll certainly be a slowdown. Micallef got very, very out of shape on the exit of turn 1 as well, running a bit wide across the grass and AstroTurf, but managed to gather it back up, luckily, but he's dropped some places as a result, and that's McMahon is serving the slowdown. Canchin is through for second place, though, and now the question is going to be, does he have enough pace to actually hunt down Brad Ryan, or is Marty Turner going to fight this as hard as he can?
That's the reason why Sonny Canchin's got 9,000 iRating. It's because he is one of the quicker drivers that you find in the world of sim racing, especially in an MX-5. He's probably the MX-5 maestro, along with the likes of Robert Hartley, for example. So that's always a challenge that we see. Battles still continue then, a little bit further down the order. Connors and McMahon continuing their scrap as they go through. They're starting to splinter off these groups now into packs of 3s as they try and chase down the main pack right now of about 7. Just in front, Harrison pushing with Seeger to try and reach that group. But it's been a very organised chase now going through, led by Adam Sharp. You've got Losh, George, Claver, Cook, Seeger and Harrison. These 7 are trying to make sure that they are racing for the top 10, and there are going to be a couple casualties who do not make it into the top 10.
Yeah, certainly is going to be a few casualties, unfortunately, as a result of what may end up happening, who ends up finishing where at the end of this race, at the end of what's going to be 17 minutes of racing effectively at this point in time. And you have to ask the question, are you going to be better positioned to be the 3rd or 4th car in line, or are you actually better to be the 2nd car in line with how this race and how this battle has been looking?
Are you going to be the best in line? Now, this is what drivers will be thinking about. How quickly do you want to go and run up through the train? How quickly do you want to try and get yourself places? Because they are starting to check up again. Brodie Cook's looking every which way. You can see Losh, George, almost to the back there was Luke Claver, but wide off the exit and struggling goes Adam Sharp. He goes in the grass not once but twice, and now he's going to drop everybody in the group. So keep an eye on this, and a move coming through now. Todd George, well, he's not going to stop for nobody. He's going to decide he wants to go through and wants to take a stint at the front of the pack. They lunge in, there's a tap, and that's going to be Claver all across. They scatter and scarper every which way they can, and around them suddenly it's a case of what can you do, and somehow nobody's race is completely ruined. They're all still together in the group.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how they all stayed together and all stayed facing the straight line, but on for the lead at the moment as Sonny Canchin has actually managed to catch up to the back of Brad Ryan. Marty Turner's dropped off massively, but Ryan managing to hold on to that place, but Canchin might do the over and under here on the way into the second last corner. He's up the inside. Ryan's going to have the outside, and he concedes the position to Canchin, knowing that there's no point fighting him at this stage because he's just going to get the position back when he drafts him.
Well, I think the key here is he wanted a really, really good run coming out to the Luffield corner. It's always very difficult, but it does give them that chance to just play patience. First race here for Brad Ryan. He's up against one of the very best in Sonny Kanchin, the championship leader, who every single time we've had a look at him, he has been doing something fantastic. I do want to keep an eye out as well, as Lucas Stasi now is up into 4th position. He's ahead now of Joel Proctor. I'm keeping an eye on those times. They are 1 second there or thereabouts slower off. So if you average it off, they're about a second a lap slower than the group behind that's giving chase. As Adam Sharp goes side by side right now with Lee Harrison in the fight for the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really just going to boil down to who does what, really, with the fact you're starting to get closer and closer to the end of this race. Is Lee Harrison going to want to start to move forward a little bit, or is he going to want to stay stationed? He's got a very, very good run on Adam Sharp here, doing a bit of bump drafting as well. He's going to look to the inside on the way down the hanger straight. He's going to look to get this move done very, very easily. On the way into the corner, he's going to have a massive amount of speed and overlap, and he's going to get that one done. But Sharp nearly comes back at him with some very, very good run on the exit, and Harrison might just have to hold on, and he's going to get that one in the end. Nearly had a look at Cook, but not quite.
Such a different line that Lee Harrison's taking. He's really trying to open up the exit as much as he can and attack. We've got more battling a little bit further down in the pack. Contact not once but twice. The wrist suspension's gone. Greg Holmes, Oliver, I believe, as well, caught up in that. That's how quickly it can go wrong. And you always worry about incidents like that, especially for the midfield. Greg Holmes was not a happy chappy after last round, and will certainly be hoping for a little bit more as they go through and continue on their races. But it is very, very crucial at this point in time to note every position's going. Look at it, still going on right now. Sharp desperately trying to hold on. That's Luke Claver trying to get back through here. Brody Cook's there, so's Seeger, so's Brenton Bull. They are starting to gather people from behind, so they're holding each other up here, Cam.
Yeah, they certainly are. Glenwood is not a million miles an hour, but miles behind, I should say, in this current train. And if they're not careful up front, they're going to have him right on their tail as Luke Claver gets on it by Adam Sharp at the front. Brad Ryan continues to sit station as well behind Sonny Kanchin, and then that secondary pack just in it behind them for those minor positions and just inside the top 5 between Proctor and Stasi. But that secondary pack as well behind them, George, Losh and Harrison, have all actually started to break away from what was effectively the train they were in just behind.
Brody Kirk, very fortunate he's not taken Adam Sharp out of this race, and very fortunate as well that Damien Seeger didn't take him out of the race either. He was looking really feisty and aggressive. You can see these trains as they run along in towards the next section. Proctor side by side right now with Stasi. That's the battle for 4th place as they look to go through. They're 10 seconds off of the lead, these two. Stasi on the outside, Proctor on the inside, but Proctor can't get it done. He knows better than to make an aggressive move right now, because they'll bring George and Losh and Harrison in. Might be futile between now and the end of this race as they go through. And every time you look at the race lead here, Cam, you can see it here. Brad Ryan, happy to be all over the back of Sonny Kanchin. He's trying the, I'm going to cause you as much harassment as possible during this race until I absolutely need to go and make a move.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Brad Ryan is a very, very smart racer, and he knows that this track is very, very draft dependent, especially in these cars. So he knows he just has to sit station and just wait until the perfect moment arrives when he needs to get that move done. He knows Marty Turner isn't going to be catching him anytime soon by the looks of it, with the gap that is there, especially if he keeps working together with Sonny Kanchin, who's got some serious pace at the moment compared to everybody else on a track. But we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen once that white flag drops.
We will certainly see when the white flag drops whether this race is going to be an easy win or not at this point in time. Here comes the charge then through Copse Corner for this group. Sharp, Claver, Seeger, Cook and Bull are all there. Glenwood trying to jump on the back of that one in 14th place, but they know that it all matters now at this point in time. You're gearing up towards those last 10 minutes, and when you get down to the final stages of a race, what goes through the mind as you try and figure out in a close pack like this where you want to be and how you want to attack? And again off the road goes Adam Sharp.
Yeah, Sharp's going to have a slowdown as a result of that. Claver ran a little bit wide as well, but he's at least going to get a free position possibly, or is Sharp going to be able to clear that? I'd say he's cleared that slowdown, luckily, just in time, but just in the background, it's going to be Seeger getting up the inside of Brody Cook. Cook's going to nearly try the over and under, but got his nose chopped off a little bit and didn't quite have the room that he will have liked, so he's going to end up losing a position to Seeger and have to slot into 12th place there. But like you said, it's just going to be all about timing your moves. If you're someone like Brenton Bull, you're probably going to want to start to make some moves and see if you can get to someone like Adam Sharp, who's leading this sort of train.
Yeah, Adam Sharp is someone who has been showing his hand a little bit in terms of that battle right now as they make that run up to Bridge Corner and they go through and attack. They're still attacking, by the way, for 4th and 5th place, and this is what's costing them opportunity here. You can see Joel Proctor's just sticking a nose here, sticking a nose there, and as they've been managing to do that so far, you can see that group of Losh, of George, of Harrison. They are there now, and they are going to be fighting for a top 5.
Yeah, they're going to be fighting for a top 5 at this rate, especially with the way they've all been working together in the secondary group. Might also end up on the back of it as well, as there's contact between one of the, I think that's Aaron Oliver further back, who's had contact with someone. We'll get a replay thanks to Virtual Racing to go and find out what's actually happened here. The wing mirror was dangling out in the wind, so clearly contact has occurred at some point. And down the back end section of the circuit, I'd say he's possibly lost it on the grass or something like that.
Potentially. So it's going to be an interesting one to see where it goes wrong for Aaron Oliver, who was trying to recover through the field. You can see just in front of him was Steve McMahon that he was trying to get through. So he attacks his way through Bridge in towards Priory Corner now, this very tough left-hander. Now the question's going to be here as McMahon runs wide, does he just go full beans and send it in towards the penultimate corners? He's going to see, oh, it's in front. It's a big one in front, and the whole group has to try and dive and find a way around, and that's where it happens, just in front of Aaron Oliver. So not necessarily Oliver's fault, but there was a huge log jam just in front, and that's why he's been able to get around there, as we just saw on replay.
Yeah, he did a very, very good job at avoiding all of that went on. I thought he might have ended up running into the side of whoever was beside him there, but very, very lucky to get away with that one, and he's gained a few positions as a result of the drama that's unfolded at the front. Brad Ryan still on the back of Sonny Canchin, still continues to pressure the back, and Marty Turner is actually caught up a little bit in the last lap also. Canchin running a little bit wide on the exit of the final corner, but this could very well become a three-way battle for the lead with the way that things are starting to go, as Ryan looks to make a move around the outside but thinks better of it and just decides to slot in behind.
Yeah, he's going to get a great drive though coming out of the exit, and this is what we're starting to see here. Where are the lines drawn? Brad Ryan trying to get that done. Little bit of blinking there for Sonny Canchin going through into Maggots. And ultimately for Brad Ryan, he had to be alert to where he was going to be as he drove through. Again, just so good as Sonny Canchin through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel that Brad Ryan does not have a lane to attack necessarily heading down the Hanger Straight unless he wants to be uber aggressive to get it done. Proctor now in 4th, starting out in 6th position, but it's on for the lead. Brad Ryan looks to go the long way around the road, hard travelled. Try and get this overtake. Doesn't matter how much of a world connoisseur you are, that's still not enough to get it done right now.
It's still not quite enough to get it done right now, but he's running out of corners and he's running out of time with the fact it is the white flag as well. So he's got to start thinking, where can I actually get this move done? Where are the actual viable options to make a move, and where can I have a lob if I really have to?
Where is the lob indeed? And now he's starting to wonder, how can you get this sorted? They know where they need to be. They know what they want. I wouldn't say it's the final lap just yet, but here they go. In fact, sorry, it's 12 laps, so no wonder. Here's the fight. Brad Ryan to the inside, trying to get it sorted. Has he got it done around the outside? Canchin's trying to hold in there. He is. This is some brilliant stuff. He's going to be tough here for Brad Ryan through left field corner. He's going to have to try and go up and under if he wants to pick this off. But Kanchin taking that inside line. It's going to get the drive off the exit. It's a short run here to the start-finish line. Kanchin's been holding on. Some fantastic work getting done. And as they get themselves over here at the end of lap 12, it is victory for Sonny Kanchin over Brad Ryan. Marty Turner picking up third. That race really did jump up on us towards the end.
Yeah, it certainly did. In the end, it was very, very much a lot quicker than we thought it was going to be. But in the end, Sonny Kanchin just doing enough to hold on all single file across the line for pretty much everyone on back to 13th. No real battles by the looks of it, but it's a drag race between Moroz, Oliver, and also Connors. And Moroz just going to edge out both of them in the end.
Important points there being won with that scrap there over the line. And we talk about these battles and these scraps, every position matters, and they'll all drive themselves towards the end, and doesn't matter how much of a poor race you've had, if you can score points, it's going to be important as you get yourself over. With the final few stragglers making their way over to the line, we can go through the official classified results from this opening race of 2 here from Silverstone. It was Sonny Kanchin who picked it up then, 24 minutes, 23 seconds, the 12-lap race, won by 1.5 tenths there of a second, 0.151. And Marty Turner just holding on to third, doing a very solid job. Give credit to Joel Proctor, started 11th, got himself all the way up to 4th position, and held on to that for the majority of that race, with Wayne Losh in 5th and Lee Harrison in 6th. Lucas Stasi gets 7th position overall, with Todd George in 8th, Adam Sharp 9th, and Luke Claver, who had been here, there, and everywhere in that race, up 8 places to round the top 10.
And you're going to have Damien Sear coming home from 22nd on the grid in 11th. So very, very good drive from him, and Brody Cook as well, 19th on the grid to 12th. Brenton Bull, 17th to 13th. Glenwood, unfortunately, would have liked a better result, but comes home at 14th in the end. Simon Smith ends up rounding out the top 15. Moz Moroz and Aaron Oliver started a lot further up than where they finished 16th and 17th, with Anthony Connors in 17th, but correction by the looks of it, with some penalties being handed out post-race. Matt Van Egmond 18th, with Steve McMahon and Braden McMillan rounding out the top 20.
Yep, they certainly are. We'll look further down. Richie Domingo will be classified in 21st place, with Neil McKenzie 22nd. Then it's Bard Rodkin and Jamie Willits, with Lockie Haverkamp in 25th position. John Thorne, quiet race for the 690, 26th, with Matthew McMillan in 27th, Darren Linus 28th, Greg Holmes will be 29th, and Lucas Mikulev will round out 30.
And then Mark Johnson going to be the first car outside the top 30, with Ashley Norman at 32nd, and then Ray Mundo is in 33rd, Wade McCulloch in at 34th, Glenn at 35th, and then Shane Seddon, Mark Foster, Joshua Maynard, Tom Huggan, and Tony Vaselis running out the top 40.
And then you look down, you got Matt Seddon on debut, Caleb Patterson. A real shame for Tiny Venables, has a lot of work to do to move up through, with Darren Sharp, Ben Ferguson, and Jesse White-Carrick, the final finishers on 46. Drives a lap down or worse include Aaron Russell, Carl Goodgut, Graham Ellis, and then Dave Gogol, struggling with a disconnect just before the start of the race. And ultimately that put an end to any hopes of getting something out of race number 1. But race 2 will be a little bit different, Cam. It's the same distance. It's 12 laps worth of racing. It's 30 minutes. But the difference is, A, pit stop. B, got to take 2 tyres.
Yeah, absolutely. So this race is going to be a little bit more spicy, and going to have a little bit more strategy as well, with the fact that you're going to need to make that pit stop at some point in this race, and bearing in mind that it's probably going to be 12 laps again instead of a 30-minute race. So you're going to have to do it within that 12-lap period, but it's going to just be all about, when do you do it? Do you do it early? Do you do it late? Do you suffer with cold tyres? Or do you get some clean air? And knowing how the draft is going to work around here, I'd say you want to pit with pack as well.
Certainly will. You always need a partner to tango with. If you don't have a partner to tango with, well, dancing on your own is not necessarily always the best option. As we also need to note as well, Cam, the grid for race number 2 is sorted out by the finishing results of race number 1. So if there are any drivers who are well out of position going into this one, they know they've got a lot of work to do to get their way back up through the order.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They've got a lot of work to do, especially those who finished down the order who had some form of drama in that race, the likes of Glenn Wood, the likes of Ashley Norman, those who started up the front, even Mos Moroz and Aaron Oliver, and a few others who finished a bit further down than they probably would have liked, have all got a lot of work to do ahead of them to get towards the front of the field. Whether they'll be able to use the pit strategy to their advantage, who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
We certainly will. Another half an hour awaits these drivers, another 12 laps, so more likely we're looking at 25 and a bit minutes to figure out this second race. Drivers getting those final little bits of looks going through, and once again there in that first race camp, Sonny Kanchin proving that experience is key to how he's racing. Brad Ryan gave it everything, but of course Kanchin just knowing where to place the car and actually learning over the course of that race where the car is or is not going to make a move. You normally see in the real world that overtake around the outside, of course, at Luffield Corner. But difference today is that you're stuck on the outside. You don't really have much that's helping you through that section of road to go out there in the initial stage of turn.
Yeah, you certainly don't quite have the help that you probably would like, unfortunately, in that corner, but if they can make it work, they can make it work. And bearing in mind as well, this track is starting to actually cool down, so we might be able to see a bit more racing through some of these corners, which are a bit more wider and might open up some different lines to help drivers get around the outside.
Yeah, it certainly will. And you do start to wonder, and you do start to notice here different drivers trying different things. And this is one of the things as well about this Rumble and the formats that we've got. It's not just about those quick drives at the front. It's all about drivers trying to get themselves up to speed and get themselves into position. That's why we see things like the AM category and the rookie category being so heavily contested.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And there's a lot of quick drivers in some of these AM and rookie categories as well, who probably not quite the driver you'd expect near the front as well to be running up with these quicker pro guys as well. So, but really, really good to see, regardless, to see those who aren't quite on the quicker side having a really very, very good result and being in contention as well.
Checker flag then in warm-up. We don't need to go through the starting grid for race number 2. It's exactly as the results were for race number 1. So Sonny Kanchin will be on pole, Brad Ryan second, and then it will be Marty Turner going from position number 3 on the grid. So they know what they need to do. They've only got a minute to grid themselves up. They know that this second race sometimes can be a little bit more hectic than the first. They do have that threat of the pit stop. Do expect a couple drivers to go in early. They can't, of course, do the Michael Schumacher 98 and pit this on the last lap and avoid any penalties that go through. No, sir, that's not how this one will work out. But Kanchin with control in the 59 machine knows he's got to be very, very quick off of this start. Brad Ryan's been a thorn in the side all day long. But what about those chasing? Lee Harrison, for example, did really well to get back to 6th position. Is it going to be more of the same here? As everyone's on the grid, engine notes will rise here at the feature. 12 more laps worth of racing from Silverstone Historic. Let's get ourselves in play. Green flag and we are underway. Kanchin with a really aggressive start and got that one working to a T. Already trying to make a move as Lucas Stasi on Lee Harrison being pushed all the way to the pit wall as they go down towards turn number 1 and Copse Corner here at this fantastic track. Too wide they go, Noah's Ark style in terms of this sim race. Joel Proctor holding off Wayne Loshi, trying every which way, but still the fight's there. The top 3 again, putting themselves nicely into contention.
Yeah, certainly doing a very, very good job, and a very good job by Joel Proctor as well to hold on to that top 4 spot, and now right on the back of it, Marty Turner as well. So he'll get on to the back of it, that lead train, and he'll find himself in contention for a possible podium or even a race win at this stage. Lee Harrison and Wayne Losh as well, side by side in the background on the way down towards the Hanger Straight.
One car's off, it's Mos Moroz. You're going to see him in a moment. He's by the DRS marker post. He's only just managed to turn around. In fact, he's taken the toe. and championship aspirations for Moz are over, just like that. But there are some of your drivers then making that challenge then in the second packs, trying to get going forward. You can see some side-by-sides they go around. That's Lee Harrison. What a start he's had, going around Joel Proctor already up into 4th position. He's wasted little time trying to keep himself there. The top 3 have built a little bit of a gap, as we'd expected there, the difference between Pro and Am. But here comes Brad Ryan making the move to the inside. Sonny Catchin deciding, you know what, don't want to battle you on lap 1. I'll lift. I've got 11 more laps to figure it out. And here comes Harrison with the power play.
Yeah, very, very big move by Harrison up the inside. He's going to compromise the exit, but he'll get that one done on the way into the following corner and take that position off Marty Turner. So into 3rd now is Lee Harrison from 6th on the grid. So he's had a very, very good first lap so far. Proctor back to now 6th, and Marty Turner into 4th. I should say 5th actually for Proctor.
Well, all that work from Lee Harrison, he's just dove into the pits on lap 1. So he's made the call to dive in. Damien Seeger will follow in. Aaron Oliver as well will also dive into the pit. So strategy is going to be a very key one that we're going to be keeping an eye out on here today. But it does just open it up then for Brad Ryan and Sonny Catchin to start playing mind games with each other. Marty Turner in 3rd, Proctor is 4th, Losh is 5th, Stasi 6th, and Adam Sharp in 7th. How good are the stops going to be? The 2 tyres taken, and they'll be out and away again. But through Magus and Beckett's, what a fantastic view it is of this circuit. You can see so much when you go and watch it IR and L. But on to the hangar straight they go. Brad Ryan with some control and some constraint at this point in time. Everyone behind is just going to be trying to angle up when and where they can overtake.
Yeah, and they'll be also trying to catch up to those top 2 as well, as Kenshin gets the move done, moves into the lead of the race once again to take it off Brad Ryan. But Brad Ryan with a not too bad of an exit, but he's not quite going to have enough momentum to get around at the outside. So these 2 still fighting a little bit hard, and what this is going to do is help those in a bit of clean air and those behind as well to catch up to these guys. But it is still very, very tense just behind them as well.
Lockie Haverkamp on screen right now, the 111. As we look a little bit further forward here, some great 2-wide battling for your race lead. Brad Ryan and Sonny Catchin into bridge. Ryan there was on the inside. He'll be on the outside now for Priory. Doors already firmly shut and just a little bit behind. You can see a bit of 2 wide there. That's Adam Sharp and Todd George there with Luke Claver and Brody Cook just behind. And every time you've got to be alert to where the move is going to be. You've got to shut down every avenue of opportunity, stop drivers behind you from having a sniff.
Yeah, you absolutely have to stop them having a sniff and stop them getting any sort of advantage, as well as a whole bunch dive into the lane for the second lap. And we'll see what happens here in this little battle pack that is involved with Aaron Russell. And you can see the line of cars just streaming into the lane, the likes of Joel Proctor and a few others, Sharp, George, Cook, Smith, all in the lane at the moment to get their pit stop out of the way, and we'll see where they come out in relation to the likes of Harrison in that.
It is a very crowded pit lane, and it will be one that they'll be very, very alert to at this point in time as well, Cam, because of course this isn't going to be the easiest challenge. Look at them all try and dive off of the pit exit. There is the 88 machine of Luke Claver, who has stayed out, kept himself in play. Now, another question that they'll be asking is, where are they going to be coming out in comparison to the likes of Lee Harrison, for example, someone who definitely will be worth keeping an eye out on here. There is Lee Harrison as he makes his charge up through the lefts and rights at this stage. The KP Tech machine, number 26. And, spin just in front. That was Proctor, who had actually beaten him in the stop, and then suddenly finds out why 2 tyres is always difficult on cold tyres. One side's a little bit rubbered in, it's got the heat, the other side doesn't.
Yeah, just got the rear end a little bit too loose, and around he went, unfortunately, and he's dropped a huge amount of places. He's come out behind Adam Sharp in at the end out of all that once he's recovered, so he's not going to be happy with himself at all. We'll get a virtual racing score replay and see what's happened here coming out of the pit lane, and you can see ahead of Lee Harrison. Harrison should pop into view any second now, and you'll see that there he is. He's not too far behind, but a nice little gap and buffer that Proctor has, but coming on through the S's, Maggots and Beckett's, and unfortunately just ends up dropping the rear end on the way into the right-hander. Unfortunately, it just looks like he might have compression locked it with a downshift possibly.
Very easy to do at Beckett's corner, and that spin, not ideal. Nice 360 though. Gets himself back in going on a straight line, and you can't really argue too much more about that at this moment, but it's the front four at this moment we focus on right now. Kanchin in second position. In the lead is Brad Ryan in the 96. You've got Marty Turner and Wayne Losh there, third and fourth. So there's definitely abilities to go out there and make moves, and remember, track position is going to be key for when you want to come down into the pits and make a stop. So it might be something where we see drivers looking to get ahead, get themselves into play. I believe that's Glenn Wood coming out of the pits right now, looking to try and get back to speed once again. As Luke Claver there gets up to speed and drops right behind, I believe, that might just be Aaron Oliver. So that is definitely going to be interesting to say the least. Claver will try and keep himself in position, Cam, for the second half of the race.
Yeah, he certainly would want to try and put himself in a very, very good spot later on, or for later on in this race, I should say. Still plenty of racing to go, just under 10 laps to go. So we'll see what's going to end up happening, but at the front it is still very, very close. But you can see here move being made further back down at the field, up the inside, right to the white line. Nearly goes Simon Joel Smith on the way by Brenton Bull, who's going to have to concede at that position, and no real ability to challenge that with the draft that Smith had.
Yeah, Simon Joel Smith then making a very accomplished overtake, and not really much more that you can argue about that with the way that move was done. Connors and Bull, two AMs fighting for 22nd and 23rd positions in this race. They'll make their run up to Abbey and then Bridge Corner. Well, we've seen a lot of the overtaking happen here today. A little heavy over the curb though, and goodbye place. That one has gone just as quickly as that one arrived. But now you're into this philosophy of tyres and how you choose them. Johnson and Wood there, that's Glenwood going through. Either you pit really early, Cam, or you pit really late.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You've got to do one or the other. You can't really do one in between, as you find yourself possibly with a little bit of a disadvantage at some point. So if those have pitted already, they're going to have to go a little bit longer, and they're probably going to want to pit in those last few laps or so. So we'll see what these leaders do. None of them have pitted yet. None of the top five have come down onto the lane currently, but Brad Ryan up the inside of Sonny Kanchin on the way down the hangar straight, and he's going to get that move done very, very easily on the way into Stowe. But Kanchin going to just slide in behind and let him go, as it's no real hard battling going on at the front, but it's just enough to keep them working together.
Doesn't have to be hard battling at this point in time. It just needs to be efficient, and that efficiency we are seeing. There is the number 26 looking to give chase. Lee Harrison, 15th position right now, 32 seconds adrift of your leaders. Did a 2-minute 0.5 last time by. There's only a couple of tenths slow. He's got a bit of side-by-side there going on between Ferguson and Gogol. There, Ben Ferguson, Dave Gogol. And that battle ultimately is ending up in Ben Ferguson's hand there in P13. The number 30 started 45th on the grid.
Yeah, he's done very, very well in this race so far to move his way forward, especially from that far back on the grid. You'd have to think that it's just been a matter of avoiding all the incidents and just working his way forward. He's done very, very well though, regardless, but he's still got a long ways to go and still needs to put his head down and work forward. As we see here, battle for one of the minor positions further back. It's 10th place with Patterson involved, possibly trying to get something done on Mackenzie, who's just in front of him.
Two drivers dive into the pits. One is Lucas Stasi, the other is Tiny Venables, who goes into the lane looking to get that strategy all sorted. Great pack starting to form here in the middle as we focus on Anthony Connors, Brenton Bull and Adam Sharp here on their charge onto the front stretch once again. And the question is going to be, how long is it going to take you to get in and out of the pits? Well, just leaving the pits right now is Lucas Stasi. He's going to come out just behind Aaron Oliver.
Yeah, So just going to come out round about where he was anyway, but it's not too bad of a position as they're not too far away from the likes of Lee Harrison and co. So they might be okay later on in this race, and a few more yet to pit as well. So you might find the likes of Losh and Turner might end up a little bit further back, but we'll see how this is all going to play out with the way it is running.
Front four looking very, very solid at this point in time. They make the run through the long left there at the Abbey, over towards Bridge Corner, and not enough really for Marty Turner to eye up and overtake just yet. Knows that you got that full safe in the background as we focus then on cars looking to try and chase forward. You can see our gaze very much on the 42 downshift car of Mackenzie there. Neil Mackenzie trying to keep himself in range here, is in 10th position. Caleb Patterson in 9th. So this is an important one. They are to make what they need. Front four decide they all stay out, but battles also continue on here, Cam, a little bit further back.
Yeah, it certainly does continue on further back. Currently on board with Damien Seeger, fighting for one of those minor positions further back in the order, just outside at the top 15 currently, as Lee Harrison not too far up the road as well, currently trying to find a way on by his teammate though of Aaron Oliver, who's dealing with a little bit of lap traffic of Graham Ellis just in front. He's going to move out of the way, thankfully, not be too much of a hazard, and they'll continue to fight their way forward as they continue to work together and try and see if they can catch up to Lee Harrison.
Well, they say Rome wasn't built in a day. They've got work to do though. 6 laps to go and counting down. We're into the second half of the race, and it's side by side for the race lead. Here comes Sonny Kanchin as he looks to the inside then of Brad Ryan. And there's not much else that you can really do about one of those. That's just known as a fine overtake. And Brad Ryan trying to get immediately aggressive back and attack with as much bile and venom that is there in his body. But we've got this battle going on. Lee Harrison in the 26 leads through now on Ferguson. That puts him up into 8th place. But the other key is that Marty Turner is starting to get a little bit impatient behind Kanchan and Ryan.
Yeah, starting to show some signs of possibly wanting to get a move on. Knows that these two are fighting hard and that they're starting to run out of laps as well. And they also haven't taken their pit stop yet, so they're going to need to make sure that they try and work together, make sure he can get a move done before they get to that pit stop phase, as he knows he's going to have possibly a little bit of trouble getting on by these guys.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a couple drivers dive in right now. End of lap 7, start of lap 8. Would make sense if you're trying to undercut, and nobody takes it. So they're staying out. They're all going to a number, and that's their story, and they will stick with it. There is not much more. Matt Van Egmond, by the way, quiet drive from him. 14 seconds adrift of Losh, 5 seconds adrift of 5 seconds ahead, sorry, of Ashley Norman right now. That's P5 at this stage as he dives into the pits.
Yeah, so he's going to drop down the order a little bit. Probably going to come out just around the sort of Brodie Cook area, or maybe a little bit further back, but we'll see what's going to end up happening with him and where he's going to end up sinking out with the rest of the field. He's certainly going to lose a number of positions as a result of this reasonably long stop.
Just noticed that Lee Harrison was half a second quicker than the leader that last time around. Has brought the gap down to 31.3 seconds, which I don't think is enough in transit time. So you've got to keep an eye out on it. And those who are eagle-eyed, who do have a spot of their cam, will be able to see how quick those lap times are and do one of either two things. 1, bite the bullet and pit, or 2, get yourself into a zone and start to fire off purple after purple.
Yeah, there's going to need to be a decision made at some point. When do you decide to pit if you're at the front of this field? Do you do it late? Do you do it in the next lap or so? Do you try and leave it as late as you can? It really is just going to be all about what the lap time is going to be. Are they going to be able to do lap times quick enough compared to the likes of Lee Harrison, who are doing very, very quick lap times at the moment? Or is there going to be something else that they can do? We'll have to wait and see if any of these drivers come down onto the lane this time.
Well, as they make their way through in towards Brooklands, Luffield follows next. This might just be when we start to see that all-important strategy game come to a fold. Big wide line from Sonny Catchin. He's angling to go in. Everyone follows except Brad Ryan, the leader, who dives out, stays out. I think everyone knew if we want to be in this race, we've got to follow one Sonny Catchin. He is arguably the best driver in the field. If he's pitting, well, we may as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. No point doing something on your own if the guy that's very, very quick out there knows, well, is doing something that he possibly knows that you don't. So it's going to be interesting to see where Brad Ryan's going to filter out in relation to that lead pack he was formerly in, and where it's all going to play out in his favour. Well, whether it's going to play out in his favour or not, that's going to be the big question, because he's going to have the risk that he's got no draft and no help.
Well, here's the answer. It's going to get by Marty Turner with a bit of help from John Thorne, the rookie. And they're going to be all over Sonny Catchin, those two. So through goes Harrison. Up then into what is effectively the battle for the victory here today, with Catchin only just in front, trying to work out those two tyres. This is a very dangerous game to play, and what a time to do it. Great run coming out of Chapel Corner. Will be side by side on the hanger straight. No DRS, of course. It'd be foolish. They don't even have a rear wing. Boilers. But now here comes the charge. Sonny Catchin knows when he's beaten, he will go and attack that one another day.
Yeah, he certainly will, and he knows that they've got a few more laps left in this race as well to get moves done. So he knows he doesn't really need to rush, and he knows that, probably knows that Lee Harrison has been having very, very good pace in these last few laps or so as well. So he's just got to keep sitting in behind, being patient, and work out what he's going to do in the last 2 laps or so.
Got these fantastic miniature packs starting to form up. Adam Sharp and Brenton Bull is one of them. Behind that, John Proctor and Anthony Connors going for position. And then you got Norman versus Russell. Another great battle going on, this time all the way down the order. Now, that is important, that move, as here comes Sonny Catchin. Sorry, that's Wayne Losh on Aaron Oliver. Trying to find that move, not going to find it. Seeger's left with nowhere to go, so Todd George going to have a little search down the inside.
Going to end up switching positions just in the back there as well. Todd George trying to get around the outside, but didn't quite get that one done in the end. He's going to have a pretty decent run, though, as a result of the line that he's taken out of the final corner, and he's going to look to set this one up on the way into turn 1 on Damien Seeger. Looks to the inside, pokes the nose out, but not quite close enough to get overlap, and he's going to have to sit in behind for a little bit longer, but he's all over the back end and bumper of the MX-5 of Seeger's.
Absolutely, and you wouldn't have it any other way, really, with this battle. Lap 10 of 12. They know they've got 2 laps to go the next time they cross the line. But for Todd George, he knows if he can be patient, if he can just watch the car in front, is just behind that. Lucas Stasi with mirrors full of Luke Claver right now. If you just sit, if you be patient, this is the sort of track really, Cam, where everything just, falls back to you.
Yeah, it certainly does, especially in these things where draft is very reasonably important. Not the most important thing in the world, but it is reasonably important. It's side by side on the way down towards Stowe. That is a little bit wide there from the mid-pack, and it's just ended up working out for Lucas Stasi, who's going to try and get it around the outside. He's going to end up backing out, though, unfortunately. Claver going to take that one off him.
Yeah. So Claver then going to pick up one more place, and now you start to wonder, is now the time? And it is. Brad Ryan, your race leader, is diving on into the lane. It's going to be all about the arena section for those drivers, Harrison, Catchin and Turner. Catchin is now ahead of Lee Harrison once again. Marty Turner's desperately trying to cling on in that group, but it's all about being aggressive here, and if there was any time to do it, starts to hemorrhage time. Now you needed to make that move.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And he was also starting to run out of laps anyway, because of the fact that he was going to have the white flag next time by, and that this is going to be very interesting. He's nearly off the jacks as Brad Ryan, and he's gone down and still sitting there. I think he might have sped into pit lane.
Oh, that's
he's taking 4.
Oh, he's taking all 4. Mistake then on the stop. Taking all 4 tyres. instead of 2. He'll get out and away, and there goes a chance of victory here today. He'll be out with Simon Joel Smith, Lucas Stasi, and Luke Claver. So that for Brad Ryan is a big learning curve. He'll come out in 11th place with everything to do and a little bit more on top. Nightmare. Kanchin versus Harrison versus Turner on the outside looking in again. That will be your battle for the win.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be your battle for the win with the way it's looking by the looks of it, with the fact that now Brad Ryan is out of the picture and everybody else behind not close enough by quite a long shot to get to the back of those leaders. Although that said, anything can and probably will happen, so you can't discount them at all. They'll keep pushing on, but the chance is probably on the more unlikely side at this stage.
Yeah, we are looking at it right now, and you'd feel at this stage that Lee Harrison just has to be patient, get himself into an attacking mode, get himself within 0.2 of a second, he'll have a chance. Marty Turner's just there to watch, see if there's an incident at all between those two drivers. Losh and Oliver fighting as well, but there's the look then on board with Lee Harrison, who can't quite get close enough to make it happen through Priory Corner. But every time he takes the lines, he gives himself a chance, as well as this battle behind. Claver, Stasi, Simon Joel Smith with a very aggressive line to the inside there, Cam.
Yeah, very, very aggressive line to the inside. Claver going to continue to hold on to this one at this stage, but don't rule out the car behind at all of Stasi, who's looking very, very racy. This pack behind those very, very racy indeed, as Brad Ryan trying to get around the outside of the car of Brody Cook, who's going to end up having to concede that position as he's made that outside line work very, very well. Has Brad Ryan. He's going to have the momentum on the way down towards turn 1. He's going to close right up to Adam Sharper, and this is the white flag in the air as well, so it's about to get very, very spicy in all these packs.
It certainly is. That's your leading battle right now. You can see moving through. The fight for 4th position not over. Wayne Losh is in full retreat mode with Aaron Oliver. Seeger and George might want in behind that. The fight for the final spots in the top 10 go to Simon Joel Smith and Adam Sharp, leading, I would say, a ragtag army into battle with all those positions to be sorted out, filed and tucked away. Got some 2 wide, 2 deep here on the run to the hangar, on the run to Stowe, sorry. Aaron Oliver through on Wayne Losh. Got Damien Seeger through on Todd George. Losh isn't giving up though in that scrap. Neither is Lee Harrison, by the way, in 2nd position. You can see he's not a million miles away. He might have a chance heading to Priory. It's going to be an outside shot, but if there's anyone who's brave, it's car 26. He knows how to be brave. He knows how to make those moves happen. All over the back through Bridge Corner. Has he found the unluckiness of Sonny Kanchin? Not through Priory, he doesn't. Maybe a look at Brooklands. He's trying to angle it up for that inside. It's covered off as they go through. Luffield remains in the small flick right of Woodcote. There's not much you can do when he's driving like this. It's sunny side up. It's 2 from 2 on the drive to the line. Victory for Kanchin. The fight for 4th we just saw there. Losh losing out late then to Aaron Oliver. Kanchin, though, absolutely superb, sublime, unstoppable.
Yeah, once again, a very, very dominant result for him. Lucas Stasi is going to end up winning the battle between himself and Claver in the end. Claver not really having anything for him. Adam Sharp is actually going to finish behind Brad Ryan in the end, so Ryan's going to come across the line in 11th after taking 4 tyres. He'll be a little bit dark about that, but not too bad of a result regardless for him overall.
Oh no, absolutely right.
Oh dear.
Bit of a moment there going through the final section of road. We didn't quite catch it on the cameras, but it does happen. But you can see someone limping their way home. Looks like it's Aaron Oliver potentially, who is in a bit of trouble. If not, then it's going to be Jesse White Carrick there, trying to bring himself over the line. But that's going to be pretty much everyone. We can run through then official classified results from this 2nd race of 2 that we've had here this evening with SimSpeed TV as part of your Simworx Rumble Roadster. But it is Sonny Kanchin doing the double, going back-to-back with a 24-minute, 51-second drive ahead of Lee Harrison by 0.2 of a second. You could call it a quarter of a second. Marty Turner rounds out the podium with Aaron Oliver in 4th. Wayne Losh finishes 5th ahead of Damien Seeger in 6th. Your leading amateur being Todd George, with Lucas Stasi in... pro is Todd George. Leading am Lucas Stasi in 8th place, with 9th going to Luke Claver. Simon Smith rounds out the top 10.
Brad Ryan comes home in 11th after that 4-tyre pit stop. Then Adam Sharp 12th. Brody Cook 13th with Brenton Bull and Norman running out the top 15. Joel Proctor 16th after starting 4th. Unfortunately, he'll be disappointed with that, especially considering he was on full possible podium. Aaron Russell 47th on the grid to 17th, a 30-plus gain in the end. A very, very good drive from him. Anthony Connors 18th. 19th will be Glenn Wood from 35th on the grid, and from 39th on the grid to 20th will be Tom Hogan to round out the top 20.
Just behind that, Lucas Mikulev takes 21st with Tiny Venables there in 22nd position. Then you've got Caleb Patterson 23rd, Josh Maynard in 24th, Lucky Haverkamp finishing in 25th place ahead of Greg Holmes 26th. Steve McMahon, another struggle bus type of day, 27th position overall, with Ben Ferguson in 28th, 29th for Carl Goodger, and then John Thorne rounding out 30.
Then Richie Domingo in 31st, with Mark Foster in 32nd, 33rd, 34th, Jamie Willits and Jesse Craig, and Matt Sedon coming home in 35th. 36th will be Matthew McMillan with Wade McCulloch in 37th. Darren Linus 38th with Raimundo, and Darren Sharp rounding out the top 40.
Now we're looking into drivers who are a long way down or a lap down or worse. Mods Moroz, Neil McKenzie, both very far down the order. So too for Brandon McMillan, Dave Gogol and Bard Rodkin. A lap down was Matt Van Egmond, Graham Ellis, Shane Seddon and Mark Johnson. Tony Vaselis, the only driver not to make it home. 1 lap from the end, 3 laps down. The 77 finds himself here today. 50 drivers started this race. 50 drivers got themselves to where they needed to here overall. But we do have drivers ready for post-race interviews. Stood by with Cam Dance right now is Lee Harrison.
Yeah, very reasonable night of racing for you, Lee. A 2nd and a 6th, so some very, very good and important championship points.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was good to recover in that first race there after unfortunately getting tangled in that lap 2 incident, but fought through from whatever it was, 22nd back up to 6th. So it was all about maximising some championship points. Unfortunately for me, Sonny's had a perfect round, but hopefully I've closed up on some of the others between us on the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that second race with the pit stop, you pitted one of the earliest to pit. Actually, was there any sort of reason behind that? Were you trying to get into clean air mostly, or was it just to try and see if you could make something else happen?
A little bit of both, actually. This car, we tend to choose either the lefts or the rights for the pit stop, as they changed the left and the right separately. So trying not to get too much heat in the tyres before pitting meant that they would be pretty well evenly matched. So, you know, I wouldn't have to spend a couple of laps getting them back up to temperature if I pitted in the middle of the race. So there was a bit of strategy there, but also I knew that if I could get some clear air, I could punch out some good lap times and hopefully come out towards the front again.
Yeah, certainly. It seemed to work in the end, especially with the fact you're putting in some very, very good lap times near the end. Well, next week's going to be very, very interesting to see what's going to happen. Thoughts and looking forward to it at all?
Yeah, I'm always looking forward to it. We were commenting in the practice before the race tonight. You know, our Tuesday night crew is really fun. We all jump on and have a bit of a laugh in the practice session, and then on a Sunday afternoon, everyone jumps in and has a good few laps. So it's just a lovely thing to look forward to on a Tuesday night. Yeah, we should be all right. Again, we'll have plenty of pace, so fingers crossed we can get a win on the board.
Yeah, certainly. Hopefully going to be another good night of results next week. Well, before I let you go, just any thanks and any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, always the crew at Simworx Race Simulators do an amazing job for us. Their gear is second to none. The pedals are amazing. You know, punching out lap times as fast as the leaders when they were towing, and I was all by myself. It's testament to their gear. Wolfchester Trade Shop for all your automotive consumables, Duo Trading, AMD Freight, KP Tech, Haynes Constructions Proprietary Limited, Rinaldi Automotive Towing, Phoenix Smokers, and of course my favourite Palmer's Skincare. Been putting a lot of extra rehydration in my face recently thanks to Palmer's. So can't thank their product enough, and the guys at Palmer's Australia for coming on board. All the support is really appreciated. And of course, you guys for putting on an awesome show every week.
Well, thank you very much, and we hope to speak to you next week, Lee, and all the best for next week. I believe you are standing by with our race winner, Speary.
I am. Well, race winner for both races, Sonny Canchin, with me right now. Sonny, 2 perfect races. One driver that you didn't necessarily battle with at all so far this season in Brad Ryan, and I would say a late charge of a challenge from Lee Harrison. Talk us through the final laps with race number 1 first and foremost, because it looked like it was all about placement and positioning.
Yes, hi Jake, and you were right. It was all about placement, positioning, and also the timing of the pit stop in the last race. If you're talking about that, yeah, that was what mattered at the end, because I had fresher tires, because I made like a later pit stop than Lee did, and so I was able to really push it around the right-hand sections of the track, and so I knew I had to get on the lead and then pedal to the floor, just push it. And then I was kind of ahead. I knew I'd be, and thankfully I made it.
Well, thankfully you made it. How important is it with days like today to maximise your points haul, knowing that you are always in and around the qualifying pace, put you on the second row of the grid, and then you took full effect out of the races here today?
Yeah, absolutely. Feels great because of a shaky qualifying. I kind of missed out on the first lap on the quali. I had an off. I was a bit shaky there, and so race 1 turned out really up front. It's all about the patience, and so we worked, and it was unlucky to see people behind crash out. So I saw in the mirror, and we got away, and then it was all about timing and positioning. So I feel great after that shaky qualifying start, and two races, did you say? I'm still trying to digest that. It was great racing with these guys. Brad, and I haven't raced Brad before. He's awesome with the pace, so I'm looking forward to racing him more. And so I don't know what happened to him in the pits. I think he had to take a late pit stop in the second race, so I was keeping an eye on the timing, and I made out. It was a pit stop as well. Mattered as to when you take it, and so you come out of fresher tires a bit. So Brad and Marty were great as well racing in this rounds.
Let's talk about the next few rounds then that we've got moving forward. Firstly, how are you expecting to challenge these next rounds, taking this momentum on to the next races? And more importantly, right now, in terms of how you go out there and approach each race, is this going to be for you another case of I'll take it as it comes on the chin, or are you actively out there working, trying to get everything sorted so that you are the most prepared that you can possibly be as someone who has driven this car for forever and a day?
Yeah, it's always, I won't leave anything up for chance. So it's always about preparing for the best. And the next track is something really new to me. I haven't raced much. It's a new track, I believe, Hockenheim, I guess. So I have to prepare every bit of the way up until next race for sure. So it's going to be really tough.
Well, the floor is yours here, Sonny. Of course, Hockenheim awaits you. But here at Silverstone, shout out sponsors. Who gets it done?
Absolutely. I just want to mention I got a new livery since the last race, and so I'd like to thank every sponsor who agreed to sign me up, sponsor me. I can't name all of them yet. I mean, they're not in the car, but yeah, there are lots of them. So I'm very thankful for them. Simworx especially for sponsoring the series, and all of the organizers who made that possible. So looking forward to my races. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate that.
No worries at all there. Sonny Canchin, 2 victories. Every reason to be excited about that. Cam, you've wandered down the pit lane and you found Marty Turner, 2 podiums here today.
Yeah, very, very strong night for you, Marty, to come away with 2/3. Probably could have been a little bit better, but nevertheless, still strong result.
Yeah, cheers. No, it was a good fun race. I was just trying to keep the guys up the front honest. Really, I just didn't quite have the pace to match them, but sort of tried to tuck in the draft and see what I could do. But no, they were just too good. Lee was just on another level as well, having a bad race one, but he was coming back on the race two and just driving like an absolute madman.
Yeah, we saw in both races, you sort of kind of were there or thereabouts, not quite on the tail, right on the tail of the league guys. Was the draft helping you a massive amount, or was it just down to the fact that you had a little bit of lack of pace that you weren't quite able to get there in the end?
Yeah, I think I just had a bit of a lack of pace, to be honest. Like obviously the draft is huge, but just wasn't quite sucking me in about the 1 second mark. I guess because the guys up the front were kind of drafting each other as well. But yeah, I just didn't quite have the edge to stick it with them.
And also, as far as the pit stop goes, you sort of chose a strategy different compared to the likes of Lee Harrison and a few others who decided to pit early. Was the later pit stop the way you were going to go originally, or did you just play by ear and see what the likes of Sonny and that did?
Yeah, I just sort of played it by ear, and I was sort of planning on pitting sort of about halfway or thereabouts. And then when I decided to pit, yeah, Sonny did the same thing, and I think we had a little bit of contact actually. So I had to check up a little bit in the pit stop, so I lost a bit of time there actually, but wasn't the best pit stop in the world. But yeah, it is what it is, really.
Well, Hockenheim is the next round. Have you done many laps around it, and are you looking forward to it at all?
Yeah, looking forward to it, but yeah, I haven't really done many laps there at all actually. I think I've done a few in the Radical or something, but yeah, I'll have to get a bit of practice in and see how we go, I guess. But yeah, looking forward to it. Should be good.
Well, very good. Anyway, before we let you go, just shout outs and thanks you want to give.
Yeah, just a shout out to my Chicken Up teammates, Mitch and Ash, and sponsors, Prestige Trophy and Band Centre, Baz's Fencing, and RSW Graphics as well.
Well, there you have it. It's very pretty happy Marty Turner in the end. And I think what we'll do also is we'll give you Aaron Oliver to have a quick chat to.
Yes, in the words of Key and Peele, it's Aaron Oliver who is here along with us for the ride. Aaron, a good charge there in that race number 2, 16th to 4th. But talk about race number 1 for us, because that's where it all sort of started with your night. Talk us through what happened at Priory from your perspective.
Oh, I tell you what, boys, what a hectic night of racing, eh? Yeah, it all unfolded on that first couple of laps in race 1. We were moving forward and we were in a good position, looking to stay up the front for the whole night. And unfortunately, it didn't go to plan straight away, and had a car run up the back side of me into corner, and I think I was third to last corner. And yeah, and I unfolded and we got stuck on Tane, and unfortunately we didn't come back onto the track until we were pretty much in last position and a fair way back. But yeah, with a good charge through the field and that, kept my head down, just making the clean passes as you should. And I was lucky enough there was other cars involved in incidents along the way, and it just gave me a bit of a tow along all the straights, which was good. We managed to go from 49th to 16th in a 12-lap race around Silverstone, which is pretty good around that place. You know, it's a lot of cars to pass in such a short race as such. But yeah, it really set us up for that second race, that's for sure. And yeah, all came together in the second race. We knew we had to do somewhat of a strategy, something a bit different to everyone else. So we gambled and pitted on the first lap with Lee and a couple of other guys in the extreme team. And yeah, it paid off. Managed to keep our heads down, all race together, keep on drafting each other, and managed to take away 4th place tonight. So really happy with that result in the end, especially from where we came from in race 1.
How important is the initial cooperation of getting through the field, those positions with drivers that you're not normally racing against in terms of pace-wise? How important is it to understand how those sorts of drivers really behave and react to quicker drivers around them?
Oh, well, you've always got to be on your toes, mate. You know, you just got to be watching out for all the cars around you. You know, they're having their own race too. So it's very important just to make your move at the right timing. And sometimes it's a bit of a gamble, but as long as you keep your nose clean and just watch what they're doing, be careful on the brakes, you should be all right. So it is a point of where you got to back off the pace a little bit, just go about 95% instead of pushing 100% every lap. But yeah, slowly and surely you move through the field and keep your nose nice and clean at the end.
How do you take what you've learnt then here this evening over towards Hockenheim a week from today?
Well, hopefully we're up the front in Hockenheim and we don't have to deal with it next week. It's certainly not something we want to deal with every week. We don't want to be coming from the rear of the grid a couple of laps into the race. But yeah, just keep my nose clean in that and keep my head down and try to race as hard as possible and get the results that we need.
And the results, hopefully we see you there with that. Aaron Oliver joining us then with a fourth place finish then to end out the evening's bit of work. But that's going to bring ourselves towards an end then tonight from the historic Silverstone circuit here on the iRacing service. Massive thanks to everyone who has helped get this one done for us. First and foremost, we have to talk about our replays here today. They were brought to you, of course, by the Virtual Racing School. They have been absolutely fantastic. And also on top of that, all of the sponsors here today, which include Wolf Chester's, Duo Trading, of course, AMD Freight, KP Tech, Haynes, Palmer's, Rinaldi, Automotive Towing, and Phoenix Smokers. Your title sponsor is Simworx of the Simworx Roadster Rumble. Your director has been, of course, Scott Fountain Fonte. Cam Darts has been alongside me for the ride. My name's been Jake Sperry. It's been a pleasure to bring you all of this action. Sunny side up. 2 big victories and a championship which is starting to look more and more like a runaway. But there's still drivers who are making those challenges, both old and new, in terms of their age in this series. Lee Harrison looking to try and put himself back into place. You've also got, though, that brand new challenge of Brad Ryan on the horizon. Hockenheim is next. And as we all know, Hockenheim is not a track for the faint of heart. We'll see you 1 week from today as we take our challenge, of course, when we get to some German forest.
When your business relies on the highest level of service and support, trust Duo Trading to be your complete service provider. Duo Trading can provide your business with a complete local supply solution. Duo Trading, Tasmanian supporting Tasmanians since 1976.
Fantastic. This is GT racing right now. He's got traction. He's got everything outside. Both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to him.
Oh my God. Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
It's very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no. That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?
Are you new to sim racing, or maybe a veteran struggling to reach the next level? Have you ever wondered how the aliens reach impressive lap times that seem impossible to achieve? If so, you're not alone. Most drivers reach a certain level and get stuck. But getting faster on track is easier than you think. VRS coaches are some of the best sim racers in the world and offer one-on-one driver skills training at affordable rates to help new drivers learn the basics and help experienced drivers break through to the next level. Are you ready to get faster and get off the iRating roller coaster? If so, VRS one-on-one personal training is for you. If you've invested in your equipment, it might be time to invest in yourself. Just go to virtualracingschool.com and sign up for a 30, 60 or 90-minute session with one of our world-class coaches, and you'll learn exactly what to do for faster lap times and more podiums.
Hey everyone, the USF 2000 is a blast to drive now, and here's your chance to learn it quickly. From my tutorial, VRS created a free bonus track guide for the Laguna Seca circuit, where you can learn exactly what I do in every corner to improve your lap times and get faster on track. You'll learn how to easily recognize brake markers, you'll find out which curves to attack and which ones to avoid, you'll know when to use the full track and when a sequence of corners requires a compromise, and you'll learn how hard to brake and when to lift. The VRS quick reference track maps are available free to download and delivered each week to your inbox. The entire global MX5 series is available, as well as bonus maps like this one and many more. So if you're a new racer, or a veteran, or just anyone who wants to learn how to get faster sooner, the VRS track guides are for you. Just hit the link or button on screen and get yours today.